Alright, so let's take a look at what we have so far. I've abstracted out a bit of the original art just so I can focus on the things that I'm doing here. What I want to be able to do is I want to take this counter logic cube that I've made and make it so that it can keep track of what the current value is on one of these independently, as well as allow you to increment it or decrement it. To show you what I mean, manually what would happen here is you would have, let's say, a couple blocks to be able to show what the tens and the ones place was. I just clicked clone, did I not? There we go. Don't pop it directly on there. There we go. For each of these counters. So for example, if I started with 1, there would be 0 tens plus 1 1. This is one set. This is another set, this is another set, this is another set, this is another set. Alright, using this counter logic cube, or without the counter logic cube rather, if I wanted to increment by 1, I would just grab my 1s and move it over until I got over to 9. If I wanted to increment it by 1 more, it would be similar to an abacus, where we would increment the next tier up and decrement back down to here. Or reset back to there. Let's say I wanted to do this, but automatically. I want to make it so that the cubes move automatically when I click some buttons somewhere. If I click up, I want it to shift over 1, and if it gets to 9, move back to 0 on the 1s and increment over here. I want it to do that until we hit 29, and there's no more higher that we can go. Correct my grammar there if it makes more sense. I'm going to start with my counter logic cube. So each of these counter logic cubes will take a target, the thing that they are focusing on. In this case, it's going to be this big guy. So I'm going to place my counter logic cube on top of him, right click and click lock in target. You see that it becomes green. This is our target. That lock-in target gets removed and we get lock-in 0, 1. So I'm going to place my counter logic cube in the 0, 1s position. Lock-in 0, 1s. I'm going to rinse and repeat for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And upon locking in the 9 position, my 1's marker gets created by the counter logic cube. It will keep track of where this guy is in the future, or rather, that's what the counter logic cube will be responsible for moving. I'm going to head and now lock in 0, 10. So we rinse and repeat. Lock in 0, 10s, lock in 1, 10s, lock in 2, 10s. Now we don't have a 3, 10s, so I'm going to go over here and say complete setup. As a result of completing setup, a 10s marker gets created, just like the 1s marker was created at the 0, 10s place, 0, 1s place. Alright, now comes the fun part. As a result of setup being completed on our counter logic cube, the counter logic cube goes, here's some buttons to press. If I press up, oh, it's upside down. Hold on just a second. If I press up, it increments the value until it gets to 9, and then it goes to 10. It will continue doing this. Granted, you can't go too fast for a reason, but we'll keep going until we hit 29, and we're done. Now, the reason you can't go too fast on it is because what it's doing is if I move these around, it's getting the current value according to where these are on the board. So if I put this manually to 16, it knows to read that it's currently 16 by remembering those positions we gave it earlier and looking for if the cube is there, and then incrementing it from there. So it's pretty intelligent that way, and decrementing goes the exact same way. Now, what happens if something went wrong and these guys are way off? I'm going to go ahead and increment, and they go, okay, I'm going to assume your value is 0. What if this guy's just off? Same thing. And I'm going to move him back into place. You can't go below 0, you can't go above 29. So you can use this in a combination between manual and automatic. Now, how would this look in a real game? Let's go ahead and lock this in place. Let's lock this in place. Let's get the gizmo for this guy. Oh, right, we can't do that. Okay, gizmo for this guy. And I'm going to lower it until the buttons are the only thing that are visible. This is a little picky. Come on, there's like 1 pixel worth of... There we go. So, the cube is still there, you just can't see it. Because they're locked, the physics won't take place on them, but you can hit the buttons just fine. Now this looks like it's bound to this, and the best part is, let's go ahead and reset. Let me think about this. If I pulled this guy, hey, give me my cube back. Should be right about there, no? Wait, right about there. I'm going to go ahead and clone this guy. Alright, this one I'm going to reset. Oh, poop. He deleted the other guys. Alright, hold on. Better demonstration. You. Get out of there. Alright, so I can have 2 of these and they won't impact each other. As a demonstration, I'm going to clone. I want 1 for here, 1 for here, 1 for here, 1 for here, and 1 for here. Alright, let's go ahead and delete OG here. We'll go ahead and say lock in the target for each of them. Let's unlock each of them. They are all unlocked except for that guy, so I wonder what happened there. Anyway, lock in target, lock in target. Oh, this guy's locked again. There we go. And lock in target. So they all know that this is their target. Why do they keep locking themselves after locking in the target? Oh, joke's on me, they weren't. They just looked like it. Okay. So, we'll go through the same setup. Granted, I'm just going to run through it with 2 because that's a lot. Give me just a second. Okay, there's the first one. And for now, I'm going to complete setup, move this guy over here. And you saw how you can sink him into the face. For right now, for the sake of brevity, I'm going to move this guy over here. Lock in 0 1s, 1 1s, 2 1s. You can see they are at different states. That other one already knows that it's complete, but this one, I'm locking in a different set. The data is stored to each cube independently. Alright, so now that I've done 2 of these, I can click the up button, or again, these are upside down. Alright, I can do the up button, and it'll move this one. This one's going to be upside down too. Hey, wait. Don't move that guy. Put him back. Oh, was he not? Okay, there we go. Might have to play with it to figure out which one's up and down. But you can see that they're independent. And if I mess with these and try to beat them up some, this guy will go, no, those are mine. Oh, hey, those are mine. All right. Let me know what you think.